Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. Let's do it. Peace and blessings, family. What's up with all the daydreamers out there? Please live it. Don't sleep to this thing. Welcome back to our new episode. You saw the title drop. We're now calling this the Pour Over. This is only episode 7, and we've changed the name probably about 2 times, but that's all right. That's okay. We're calling it the Pour Over now. But why are you calling it the Pour Over though, Sleep? Well, think about this. Not only are we making, or rather we've made a delicious cup of pour over coffee, but we're gonna also pour over into you for your encouragement for not only this Monday, but also for your whole week. So let's go ahead and dive right into it without any further shenanigans for me. And that's a great segue into what I wanted to talk about, man. The changing of this name to the pour over and all that stuff is restructuring and even rebranding, I guess, and whatever you want to call it, right? Restructuring yourself. I want to talk about that because I did a video not too long ago talking about starting from ground zero, and how starting from ground zero is not a bad thing. It's nothing wrong with starting from ground zero, and to be thankful that you're starting from ground zero and you're not in the ground. And I want to say this: I've been at ground zero several times throughout the span of my life, right? Throughout the span of my journey, whether it be personal life or whether it even be for this artistry thing that I do, man, right? This whole music aspect and spoken word stuff, right? I've been at ground zero several times, and what I've always found out about ground zero is when I get there, I always end up being elevated a little higher in responsibility. It's never coming back to the same thing. It's always been a brand new experience coming out of ground zero. So that scripture I read at the very beginning, Isaiah chapter 43, verses 18 through 19, I know that ground zero springs up a new thing. It's something to be perceived. If you're at ground zero, I want to encourage you, perceive that a new thing is going to happen. Perceive that there will be a way made in the wilderness and that there will be streams in the wasteland. Provision will be given at the level that you are at, as long as you are focused on moving forward and you're obedient to the things that are being given to you to get you to where God is wanting you to go. So I do want to just highlight that, guys, man. I've always found myself elevated every time I've hit ground zero, and I've gotten back up. I've learned, and I'm working, and it's churning. It's like his mercies are renewed every morning for me. So I'm thankful I serve a God of grace and mercy, because as many times as I've done stupid stuff. Anyways, okay, that's for a whole nother thing. But I want to give you a couple of points on what's helping me get to the reconstruction phase. You know what I'm saying? Working on that, because once you hit ground zero, you can't just stay there. You got to start restructuring, rebuilding, rebranding. You got to move forward. So I'm going to be speaking at this from the artist perspective, but I hope that you guys can actually get something from it. Okay, something from it. No matter what you're trying to do in life, I hope that some of these points encourages you guys. So the first thing I had to do, guys, was simply this. I had to get back to creating simply for the love of creativity. And let me explain to you what I mean by that. As artists, once we get out there and we start creating at the beginning of the journey, we love it. We're just creating to be creating. The ideals are flowing at our head. We're trying all kind of crazy stuff just to see how it'll sound, how it'll look, how it'll come out. I mean, we are into it to the 23rd power multiplied by good grief infinity, right? And then people end up being invested in what we do. We create a fan base. Our fan base is created. People are supporting what we do. The support grows and it grows and it grows. And then this is what happens to many artists. We stop creating out of the love that we had for what we were doing or what we do. And we actually start creating from the basis of, will our fan base approve of this? We create with this, it becomes tainted. And that's what happens to many of us, including me. The ideal of creating creating becomes tainted because now let me put it like this. The purest form of creation is one that's untampered by the market. And that's where I needed to get back to. And I needed to get back to just creating for the love of creativity. Just sitting down at that desk, picking up that camera, picking up the notebook to write, and just really saying all bets are off. Whether the people like it or not, I'm going to create it. And I'm going to enter into my creative space, and I am going to act like none of that exists. The weight of how people respond will not exist as I create. It's just going to come out. And I'm loving where I'm at now with that, because I'm starting to branch out of that mind frame. And I'm just like, okay, let me try this. Let me see how this sounds. Let me try this new pattern, this new beat pattern. Let me try these new samples. Okay, I don't like that. So let me 86 that. Okay, I'm liking where this is going. It's weird, so I'm gonna keep it going. I'm there, and I'm absolutely loving it, because I remember when I first started off, well, I did some weird stuff with my music, man, but I was free. And that's where I wanted to get back to. I want to get back to creating because I'm free to create. So we're gonna leave it at that, man. Hey, get back to creating for the love of creating, because you're free to create. All right, the second thing I had to do was just write. And I'm not talking about writing poems. I'm not talking about writing rhymes. I'm not talking about writing scripts to anything that I do or anything like that. I'm simply talking about sitting down and writing about who I am, why I do what I do, and where I want to go. What do I want to accomplish? And when I say writing down who I am, you ever ask artists, who are you? Well, you know, I'm a spoken word artist. I sing. What do you do? I sing. I did. No, 86 that. Take being an artist off the table. That's something that I think artists need to do. I get it. We love to say I am spoken word, and I did that before. And some people don't agree with me with this, but I don't care. I'm gonna say what I think. I am spoken word. I am hip hop. And I actually got that in an old poem. I am spoken word. I am hip hop and all that other stuff. I am a dancer. Let's look at it like this. Cut the lights off. Take away the mics. Take away the audience. Take away the beat machines. Take away the ability to record. Take away all the equipment that you have to create. Who are you? Who are you? That is a hard pill to swallow, right? You have to figure out who you are at the reconstruction phase. Sure, you can sing. Sure, you can rap. Sure, you can dance. Sure, you can paint. Great, you're a graphics designer. Oh, that is awesome. Sure, you can do all these things, but outside of that, because that's a medium by which people get to the real you. Being a spoken word artist, it is a medium by which you get to the real me. Filmmakers, book writers, it is a medium by which you get into the head of the individuals that are creating that. Who are you at the end of the day? When the crowd is no longer applauding, because let's be honest, you love being that at this moment because of the attention you get from the crowd. If that thing is taken away, who are you? Do you even know who you are? So not only do you need to get back to just creating for the love of creativity, but get back to understanding who you are as a person off the stage, because that will help you in doing that. That will help you figure out where you want to go in the next movement, right? So for me now, I sat back and I'm creating for the love of creativity, number one. Number two, I analyzed who I was, what I love to do, what I absolutely love to do, what I hate to do, how I love to chill and relax, the things that I love to eat and things like all these different aspects. I love being a father. I love being a husband. I love the fact that I love to teach the word of God and encourage other people through mentioning God's name, God's holy scriptures and stuff like that. I love doing that. I actually love pouring into young people and watching them blossom, although it can be such a headache sometimes. But I also love ministering and mentoring married couples and even single people who are dating, just trying to figure out how to survive through the murky waters of relationships, man. I love to do all that, and there's so much more. I love coffee, man. I love that. All these different aspects you find inside the creativity of my art. Because that's who I am, it pours out into that, and it helps me understand where I need to go. So it takes me back. Now, this is gonna sound weird because we're moving forward to something new, but always remember, it takes you back to the original intent on why you do what you do. So why do I do what I do? Why do I pick up a microphone and speak through it, spoken word and hip hop? Why do I sit down and do these videos? Why? Because ministry used to always be at the forefront of why I did what I did. And along the way, as again, you begin to create a fan base and you begin to create on the basis of whether the fans are gonna like it or not, guess what? You no longer are operating in service. You're now operating in a slave chain boldered to the pain of creativity rather than the beauty of creativity, guys. So I had to get back to understanding why I do what I do. And it's for the ministry. It's for the uplifting and building of people. And here's the thing, you're gonna, when you do service, because ministry just simply means service, it's for the edification and building up of other people. So yes, you're gonna create with the people in mind, but not in the sense of whether they will reject me or whether they will accept me. You're going to create on the basis of they need to hear this truth. They need to see these images. They need to know that this is what it is. They need a revelation on what is actually going on. So this is where the freedom of creativity comes in, because now you're no longer creating out of fear. You're no longer operating out of the fear of being rejected. You know that you could very well be rejected, which builds the courage up enough to go stronger for what you're about to say. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Let me continue to move. The next thing would be this, guys, and the very last thing would be very patient. It's a marathon, man. It is a marathon in restructuring and rebuilding and rebranding, because you're always going to be doing it. Don't grow weary. My advice strictly on that is focus on one or two things, because you're going to come out the gate wanting to do 1,000 things, and you're going to want those things to happen like right now. It needs to happen like right now. It's not going to happen like right now. And if it does, God be the glory. If it doesn't, God be the glory, man. Just pick one or two things to focus on solely and push forward. So when I first came out the gate, man, swinging, man, I wanted to do this type of video, these type of videos, create this type of song, make this kind of morning encouragement. I was trying to do too much, and I was about to lose my mind. I've scaled it down to doing these videos right here every Monday. Number one. Number two, focusing on putting out music for you guys. Those are the main two things that are on my mind, that I want to create, that I want to do, that I want to put out. And as those things become a little bit more consistent, then I can start bringing in the other things that I was doing, the Bible study stuff, because I still got to do the tithe video, the community talks videos that I was doing. All those things are going to come back, but I can't do so much to the point to where I wear myself out just coming out of the gate. So just scale it down, focus on a few things, guys, and just really, really go hard for those few things, man. And as you work those few little things, those two things, one thing, whatever, mold and shape those. They're gonna change over time. As you can see, we went from coffee with sleep to Monday morning coffee to morning coffee to now it's called the pour over. And I love that name. Okay, that was a little bit too wild. But anyways, guys, man, I hope that this blessed you. Oh, last thing I do want to put, man, and trust is this. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lead not unto thine own understanding. In all thy way acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Submitting my art back to God was the best thing I could ever do out of all the things that I wrote. Because after I submitted my art back to God and I said, God, take this talent, take this gift and have your way with it, man, immediately he started molding and shaping. And let me tell you, when he starts molding and shaping and doing and having his way with it, it's not gonna be fun all the time, okay? But it's worth it. It's worth going through those little growing pains where he's stretching you and pulling you. He's gonna put you in awkward places. He's gonna put you in positions to where it's gonna teach you some hard lessons, man. But at the end of the day, you come out refined, you come out brand new, and again, for ministry's sake, for the edification of the people's sake, you come out in a higher position. Much love and respect, guys, man. I hope that this blessed you in some kind of way, man. Again, this is the pour over. I just love saying that, though. Pour over. Much love and respect. Peace.